welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode with Ducky on GTA 5. Now they are calling in a vehicle, as you do, calling in their flying bike. Very powerful, very annoying things sometimes to deal with. However, this one has got other ideas. You see, as they go to set off, they fire the rocket boost and weren't holding on tight enough. I imagine that was what would happen if you tried to hold on to a bike loosely and fired a rocket engine to propel you forward, but didn't know that could happen on GTA. P's are up next on GTA 4. They are messing about with a bike, hit a bump, and things go terribly wrong. Yeah, not ideal. And to add insult to injury, well, wait for it, it's a taxi. There's always a taxi around. Actually caused quite a mess on the bridge, but yeah, just wheeling around hits. I think it was like a drain cover or something like that. But yeah, not ideal, not ideal at all. RGB Nitro is up next on Mafia. So of course, racing, a very old school vehicle, very cool looking thing. This one that is whizzing around. It's not just rally games where you can get away with a roll and carry on. No, sometimes in unusual places. It took a little bit of damage. I don't quite know what the weird electric thing is going on with that car, but it landed on its wheels. It carried on. Joy is up next on Cyberpunk. Now they're going through a sort of like a cutscene. They're going to a different part for the story, And as it loads in, okay, game's a little bit slow loading in, but everything is there, and and all of a sudden, 2 cars fall from the sky. I don't quite know how or why. It's very peculiar. I don't know whether they were. I presume they might have supposed to be in the convoy. I presume it might start a race, and they didn't load in initially, so the game panicked, or they loaded in too high, just dropped them down. But it's quite funny. Not seen that one before. TRC Deton up next on Mad Max. Now, for this, you can try and attack the bases by ramming your car through the doors, break down the gates. Good idea. Unfortunately. Less good idea if your interceptor manages to get twisted and now stuck in the gate. That is some Austin Powers level stuff, and you're probably going to have a tough time getting that car out. No boopy gun there. RC Cookie up next on SnowRunner is towing, and that's not how you tow a vehicle. It's quite impressive to be managing to tow the. I can't quite see. I actually brighten this clip up quite a lot. I'm not quite sure what vehicle it is being towed. Some sort of scout vehicle, little SUV. In the grand scheme of SnowRunner things, relatively small SUV. I didn't think the physics would even be happy enough to let you manage to tow it along on its nose like that. I don't know how it's not falling over. The truck towing's got a little bit stuck in all of this. But, yeah, that's unusual. Unusual, to say the least. Emma Artistic up next on Forza Motorsport is running, this is during a practice session, I presume for a multiplayer thing, heading into the pit lane, where for reasons I don't quite know, I've never seen this bug before, the game just forgets it's the pit lane. Now normally when you go into the pit lane, the game will take control of the car. Now I don't know if it's to do with something they slightly crashed on the way in and maybe missed the control point for it. It shouldn't do that. And I've never seen it happen before on any other circuit, or even a Spa. But yeah, they are just free to drive around the pit lane. It's really weird. I mean, we've come across a bunch of issues with Forza Motorsport over the weeks and months, but yeah, this one is bizarre. All I can think of is it's somehow in the approach, in the crash or whatever, it's just not quite triggered the sort of AI taking control mechanic of the car. But yeah, free to wander around, drive down the pit lane as much as you like. Here, it's almost 100 miles an hour through there. I mean, the pit boxes don't have any collisions. That's not a massive surprise to me, let's face it. You're never supposed to be able to wander around that part. Ike Hollins up next on Ascetic Corsa. This is the start of the very start of a race at Brands Hatch. AI on pole. Has had enough. They've really had enough. I don't even know quite what they were going to plan on doing at that point. I did see a couple of cars on the outside sort of also sort of have quite heavy steering lock as they launched. But yeah, I don't quite know. It doesn't try and recover. It just sits there. It just sits there and it's happy to go and spin the wheels. It's out of the race. But there we go. Volk Games up next on iRacing with a very bizarre moment at Bathurst with a Formula 3 car. I don't quite know. But yeah. Can't figure out this one. This is on board the car. Following it is in the braking zone, and it just goes for a backflip. Completely unprovoked. I mean, I slowed it down to try and have a little bit of a look, see if I could spot anything. It doesn't look like anything on the road. I think they were already braking at the point it was. I think you would have to be already braking at the point it was at. So it wasn't like you got on the brakes and the nose suddenly dipped down. Must have been some sort of terrain or maybe some damage on the car and terrain combined to just launch it into a flip. Jay Towers up next on Need for Speed High Stakes. Can't say I know anything about this game particularly. It's always an interesting one to see new games or different games. Trying to lay a trap for some of the races, and I'd say it worked. The spike strips are not supposed to do that. They've put the massive floor flipper from Robot Wars, only one that can go and deal with a car. Yeah. That's a hell of a launch. Is a hell of a lot. Unfortunately, they were getting themselves ready to go and give chase, so they weren't actually looking the right way. In the background, you do just see some police cars fly about as well. And finally, we have Railman on BeamNG Drive. It's actually one of my favourite clips I've ever had on here. They are trying to do, by the looks of it, some sort of Mythbusters style experiment. So you've got two trucks trying to hit this truck side on, and they mistime it completely, which does happen, and then physics and lag decide to occur, and vehicles are spewed everywhere. The truck we're riding on board with is chucked across. One of the chassis is disintegrated and flinged about. And the reason I love this one so very much is this is the sort of stuff that I do, and it's so close to being Mythbusters-esque, and then the game just decides, nope, we're going to lag and ruin your science. No science for you. Let's just lag and chuck vehicles around. It's the sort of thing I've struggled with many a time to try and get right. Yeah, getting the timing for this sort of thing is always difficult, but it wouldn't have mattered even if the timing was perfect. The wall of lag would just decide, nope, no science for you. We're going to fuse the trucks together and get you stuck on a wall, and everyone's got to reset again. There you have it. Doing science with games is always difficult, especially if they get a little bit laggy and a little bit confused. There we go. That is going to be it for this episode, for this video. If you would like to submit clips to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.